And today we'll be looking at my Hyperlight cook system. Now it's very similar to my stainless steel, about similar volume, 550ml, so plenty for doing boil up foods in the bag, as well as freeze dried and making hot drinks. So titanium has a quality of being very lightweight and yet pretty strong. It's not going to be as strong as the stainless steel mug I have, but it's also lighter than the aluminium one that I have, so it's right in between the mix there, and I just have to balance now its durability against its weight. I've got a little seat here to sit down, that'll do there, and a stable seat. So I brought with me the stainless steel and the titanium lightweight cook set. Now it is lightweight rather than Hyperlight, which is why I've bought the electronic digital scale. So I've been aiming for a Hyperlight or lightweight cook system. I've gone down the road of titanium. I've been experimenting with different types and sizes of drinks cups. I think I'll opt for the larger one just because I've tried this little one and it doesn't offer much in the way of a quality drink. I think it's 200ml. That's bizarre. So this is the actual unit itself. It contains the stove inside that, and I've also teamed it up with a spork that is titanium also. So I'll put that away safely, and it all comes in a net bag. Now I believe the lid for this is aluminium, which is a shame. I'd have loved for the lid for that to have been titanium also, but there are vent holes in that. It's pretty light, but it's a similar kind of weight to my homemade lid, which was surprising. Put that down along with that, like that. And I have everything I need in here. Zippo permanent match, a little cat stove. I've even gone lightweight with that. A monster tin heat shield or windshield, and a quarter of a cleaning rag rather than a whole one. So I am trying to think it all through. So in comparison, I'm going to show you what I've been using. To look at, looks no different until you get it on the scales, and then there's where the surprise is. So this is the stainless steel Glacier. I've found a drinks cup for this, which just happens to fit underneath. This is the bottom part of the jet boil, the dust protector. Makes for a nice little drinks cup and fits on that, rather than carrying one of the Wild Oak cups here. Both 550ml, much the same dimensions. This one does feel lighter. This has got the extra weight, but not by much, you'll be surprised to learn. Now I'm going to give you all the measurements of these once we fire up the scale, but there was nothing wrong with this little unit I've been using. I've used it a long time and I've been more than happy with it. A similar kind of stove as well, titanium. It is noticeably lighter straight away. So I'm just going to use this like a ground support. Make sure that sits on and make a nice brew. Sugar and creamer, coffee, the pot, water and stove fuel. Going to deassemble everything first, just for anyone who hasn't seen the cat stove. And there's a how-to make on this, they're well worth it. I've even gone lightweight with the actual tin itself. I'm not going to require the monster tin windshield, and I don't know about the simmer ring, we'll come back to that. Water into this. just enough for a cup of coffee, and then I can ration my water. That's a generous cup of coffee, that. Like I said, it's 550ml and I'm nearly up to the halfway mark. And get some fuel into the stove. And once I've poured it, it's important I just let it wick for a minute or so. That's more than enough. Doesn't take a lot. Everything I'm not using I can put away. So I am aiming for a Hyperlight kit, and it's more for summer use. When I can get away with a lighter sleep system, I may as well have the lightweight stove to go with it. So it is going to be a type of a hobby, getting all the things together that are lightweight, down sleeping bags and top quilts, rather than a synthetic, which is heavier material, even right down to the stove set. And I'm going to treat this like a hobby, getting everything weighed before I take it out. And this is stuff I used to laugh at and think, just carry the damn weight, man. And you might even think this is a pointless exercise just to save a couple of 100 grams. I think it's a pointless exercise, to be honest with you. But like I said, it is really stroking my OCD gene. This could be a dangerous little hobby for me. But anything that saves weight in the pack, oh, it's coming to a boil, that's quick, is going to save pressure on my poorly back. And get the coffee straight into that pot. It is going to boil over. Ow. Now that was a good test there. The handles on this pot are hot, and not so on my other unit, which is the stainless steel. The handles are very short on this. I'll just put the simmer ring onto that and put it into a simmer, and just dig out my little spoon. So, hot handles. I'm going to have to keep my eye on it. I am going to need the cloth. So this cup here is the Wild O folder, 200 millilitres. It's not sufficient enough for me personally to wet the whistle. Similar to this, still a Wild O folder mug. It's a 600ml. I can fill this up to the 300ml line and have a sufficient amount. All seems very unnecessary unless you like Hyperlight camping, which is something I'm going to go down the road of just as a hobby, bit of fun. But already I can see it is taking over a bit. And I'm going to leave that on the stove just for the next couple of minutes or so. It's a beautiful little construction though. Ow. I'm going to have to address that issue. I don't like that. I don't ever recall having the hot handles on stainless steel version of that cup mug. Okay, I can give that coffee a minute to stand now. I'm not sat on my log anymore. Just want to put my back up against the tree. So I am going down the road of everything lightweight or super light, hyper light, as light as I can get it. It's going to be an interesting little hobby. I have got things such as a down underquilt for the hammock, and that is so compressible and lightweight and yet still effectively warm. That down is going to be the winner over a synthetic underquilt or sleeping bag for me, and I can still use the hammock underquilt as a top quilt if I'm on the ground also. I can use it as a blanket over me. I just have to ensure I have really good lightweight ground insulation also, which now I have. So the pack I'm using also has to be a consideration when it regards the weight and the volume. I do have a 45 litre on standby if this one here I have, which is only a BCB, isn't going to be a consideration. So the sleep system is more or less sorted. The cook system is being sorted, and one of 2 packs are in consideration. And I could have boiled a lot more water. This is just a mouthful. This would have gone in the 200ml cup. Oh hell, that's nice. So the titanium cook pot you've seen, a little cheapy from China. Titanium is known for being expensive. It was about 20 quid including delivery. I didn't think that was bad at all, and I forget how much I paid for the stainless steel glacier cup of a similar size, 550ml. It may have been the same price, so it's a consideration when you're buying your first cook cup if you're going to go down the road of titanium or stainless steel for a similar price. So titanium gets hot quickly, it makes for a fast boil, thus saving fuel. We saw that there was still ample fuel left over on the burn. I don't know how much is in there, about 360ml perhaps, but I could save the weight and volume of even the fuel just by changing what cup it is. Now the stainless steel uses a lot of fuel because it takes longer to heat, so the longer the stainless steel stays on the flame, I need more fuel to sustain the burn to warm an equal amount of water in stainless steel. This, as you saw, it came to a boil very, very quickly, and that's just because it is titanium. So I've relocated to get a more stable surface, which is this here, so I can set up a more accurate reading, I hope, and dig out that first system, which was the glacier. Let's zero this and put this on. It's in grams, 279. Dig out the lightweight, 186 all in. I'm going to take this lid off because this was the surprise for me, the weight of the lids. The stainless steel USGI Glacier. Now it's under 200, 189. Now for this titanium, 126. So you see, only a saving of 73 grams, and I've actually put a lighter alloy for the actual cook pot in. My homemade lid, 27 grams. The one that came with the titanium, 30. That is not titanium. There's where the weight is with that pot. This was made out of an old mess tin, so there's not a lot in it between the two. So when it came to making these little stoves, this one, the inner, was made from, I think, a Prince's tuna tin, and this one was a gourmet cat food tin. The gourmet cat food tin here is noticeably lighter in the hand than the Prince's tuna tin, the inner part there. I'm going to weigh these both. This is my Hyperlight stove, 23 grams versus the Prince's tuna tin at 42. There, now that's a good difference. This little stove here, that's a keeper. I'm just going to weigh the cups themselves without anything else in. Just the cups. 81 versus 141. So I'm even going to remove the handles off this titanium pot. It's kind of pointless having handles that don't work. Absolutely pointless. I could save weight taking the handles off and thinking of something else. The lid, big surprise, it's no lighter than my homemade one. I don't know where else I can save the weight other than the fuel itself. Fuel bottle is a BRS. I'm also going to have to consider I have the weight of the fuel bottle as well as the liquid in it. And the fuel on. Wow, that's a killer. That's a weight killer right there. Let me see if I can find a way out of here. I once made a pot lid from a monster can, and that is going to save some serious weight. So that's going to be a very quick project, something I can do at camp just with a pair of pliers. So I'm going to do a side-by-side boil test and time it with exactly the same amount of water and fuel.